Lesson 14, Pharmaceutical Data Providers. So a pharmaceutical data provider is also referred to as a vendor. It's a company that collects, compiles, generates, and sells data back to pharma companies. These vendors usually provide their own services as well, so you'll have a vendor that generates or collects data and provides it back, but also has a consultant side, so they can have consultants go on site, and they can also provide services like building out software applications. These providers sell all sorts of data back to the pharma companies and the manufacturers. Sometimes instead of selling data directly, what they'll do is enter into a barter agreement where they trade data with the pharma company and the pharma company trades data back. While there are a few big players in the industry, there are also many small companies that specialize in specific segments of data collection and also aggregation. We talked about this a little earlier, people, places, and numbers, the different types of data. From an IT standpoint, you have your dimension data and your fact data. And just to reiterate again, dimension data is entities, people, places, products. So your healthcare organizations and your healthcare providers are dimension data. Then you have your fact data, which is your numbers, your metrics, your sales data, your calls data, the sample drops, things like that. It is important to understand the differences in this type of data when dealing with vendors, because some vendors sell dimension data, some sell fact data, and some sell both. What these vendors offer for sale varies greatly. So you have to understand what you're looking to purchase, why you need it, how it's going to help you and your organization sell better before you go out there and start paying a lot of money for this data. Projection methodology, only a portion of data is actually collected. I'm talking about prescription data. Not 100% is collected. Data is purchased from pharmacies. The vendors use formulas to project the rest of the data and fill in the holes. It is more important to be consistent with the data than exact with the data. You want to ensure that these vendors are using consistent projection methodology so that there's not major fluctuations to the data over periods in time. Just one example, some pharmacies do not want to share all their data due to privacy concerns. Previously, Walmart was one of those companies that did not share any of its prescription data. So you can imagine if you are in a territory where the majority of your patients get their prescriptions filled at a Walmart pharmacy, you would have very, very little data collected, and therefore you'd have to project a lot more of it. And there are still territories out there with small mom and pop type pharmacies that may not be giving their data to these larger vendors. So that's why projection methodology is so important. Dimension data is not projected. Remember, dimension data is people, places, and things. That is not projected. Now we'll go over the vendor listing of both general and specialized data offerings from various companies. Blue Grotto Technologies, BGT for short. It's bluegrotto.com is their URL. They have a specialized data offering. They focus on healthcare provider meeting management. And the biggest offerings are Sign for Compliance for Sunshine Act reporting and Capri meeting management. So they basically are in the business of capturing all the information on healthcare providers that are on speaking engagements or who are key opinion leaders for a pharmaceutical company. And the Sign for Compliance is a way to have HCPs sign accepting the fact that they are being paid to be a speaker at a certain event, and that has to be turned over to the federal government for Sunshine Act reporting, so anybody can go online and see which physician is acting on behalf of which pharma company and how much money they received for this specific speaking engagement or some other kind of engagement. Blue Water, their website is bluewatertech.com. They're a specialized data offering. They're focused on conference and attendee management. So while Blue Grotto is focused on who the actual speaker was, Blue Water is focused on who showed up at the conference, who the attendees were, who came from the private practices, what HCP showed up. They also handle virtual meetings and events, and they will track the healthcare provider who spoke at the event as well as who the attendees were. Capgemini, they're at capgemini.com. Another specialized data offering. They're focused primarily on specialty pharmacy dispensed data. So mostly collecting information on injectables or drugs that are delivered intravenously. Their key offerings are Liquid Hub and DTC consumer data. So as we talked about previously, not all drugs are taken via a pill or a tablet. Some are injected. So it's difficult to track these through your regular pharmacies like CVS, Walmart, Walgreens. So Capgemini goes to specialty pharmacies and they pull that data. They pay for that data on injectables so you can see which specific HCP is writing an injectable RX for a patient. The Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, cms.gov, they're a general data offering. It's government collected data and there's a ton of it. It's a free download. They mostly focus on Medicare and Medicaid pricing and the contracts and healthcare providers. There's also volumes of historical data available on this. This is a great place to start if you really want to learn about sales data and all the data that's out there and available in the pharma industry. And again, it's free. It's a free download. Concur.com, a specialized data offering. They're focused on expense and travel management. Because of the Sunshine Act, payments to HCPs must all be tracked. Many pharma companies will use Concur and other expense software to track their payments to these physicians for general and research grants. And by the way, Concur is not just used for the pharma industry. Concur is used all over the place. It's a very, very popular expense and travel management software, and many industries use it. It's just that it's called out here because of the Sunshine Act. Again, you must track every payment that you make to a doctor and report that back to the government. ConnectiveRx. It's connectiverx.com, a specialized data offering. They focus on the patient journey. So patient support services, pharmacist messaging, RX tracking, and benefit investigation. So while so far we've talked about data that focuses around HCPs and what they're doing, this is focused on the patient journey and patient data, and we'll get into patient data a little more later on. Decision Resource Group, DRG, and it's decisionresourcegroup.com, a specialized data offering. They're focused on managed markets and formulary data, so plan, payer, and PBM, Pharmacy Benefits Manager. Their biggest offerings are Fingertip Formulary Suite and Managed Market Surveyor. drugdev.com, also a specialized data offering. They were formerly known as Clinical Financial Services, or CFS. They focus on clinical trial data. Their two biggest offerings are clinical trial management and patient consent. Envision Pharma, envisionpharmagroup.com, a specialized data offering. They focus on medical affairs. Their biggest offering is iEnvision. It's a medical affairs platform, and it's program and plan management. Epocrates.com, a specialized data offering. They're focused on clinical data, point of care, and healthcare provider lead generation and tracking. Epsilon, us.epsilon.com, a specialized data offering, also known as Epsilon Conversant. They are focused on digital marketing and contact analytics. Their biggest offerings are HCP email addresses, HCP street addresses, and a digital strategy on how to best reach your customers. You can imagine HCPs change email addresses often, and they often change the places where they practice medicine. So Epsilon helps clear that up for pharma companies. IQVIA, URLs IQVIA.com. They're one of the biggest pharma vendors out there. Depending upon who you ask, they're probably the market leader in many areas. They're formerly known as IMS Health. Then they were known as Quintiles. They have a general data offering. They provide a wide range of dimension and fact data. Some of their key offerings are OneKey, which is a detailed listing of all healthcare providers and healthcare organizations. Exponent, which is sales data reported at the healthcare provider level. PlanTrack, sales data reported at the healthcare provider, healthcare plan, payer, and pharmacy benefits manager level. Nipper.com, they are a specialized data offering. They focus on sample management, direct-to-patient sampling, healthcare provider verification, such as sample eligibility, and any sanctions data against healthcare providers. Lecturelinks.com is a specialized data offering. They are focused on speaker management and compliance. Their key offerings are speaker resource library, healthcare provider contracts, and healthcare provider compliance. Managed Markets Insights and Technology, MMIT. It's mmmitnetwork.com, It's a specialized data offering. They focus on managed markets data, plan, payer, and PBM, much like DRG did. Their biggest offerings are MMIT Analytics, Payer Landscape, and Health Plan Directory. McKesson.com, another one of the very large pharmaceutical vendors. They have a general data offering. They focus on RX data and also software development. Their key offerings are specialty pharmacy data, infusion management, and inventory management. MedProID.com, a specialized data offering. They're focused on healthcare providers' state license attribute verification. So what does that mean? They verify state license numbers. They verify healthcare provider specialty types. They verify healthcare provider sampleability for specialty and legality. So this is a great company to help keep you out of hot water in case a HCP cannot be sampled due to the fact that they have a violation in the state somewhere and are no longer sampleable. Model N.com, a specialized data offering. They're focused on pricing and contracting data, so Medicaid reporting, payer and provider management, government pricing, channel management, and also revenue leakage. National Provider Identifier, NPI. URL is npiregistry.cms.hhs.gov. It's a general data offering. It's government collected data, another free download. It's also known as the National Plan and Provider Enumeration System, NPPES, and it's a comprehensive listing of all HCPs and HCOs in the United States and U.S. territories. Every healthcare provider and every healthcare organization has their own unique NPI number. Open Payments Data. openpaymentsdata.cms.gov. It's a general data offering, government collected data, a free download, and this is from the Sunshine Act because pharma companies are required to report all payments made to healthcare providers and healthcare organizations every year. This data details all general and research payments made to these entities. So we've discussed Sunshine Act reporting several times throughout these lessons. This is the location where anyone can go see that data and see what HCPs and HCOs received what type of payment from what pharma company. Precision Extract, PRV, precisionextract.com. It's a specialized data offering. In the industry, it's also known as Precision for Value. It's focused on payer data. Its biggest offering is a payer spine. A payer spine basically links different payer entities from various other vendors together. Symphony Health, symphonyhealth.pros.com, one of the biggest pharma vendors. It's a general data offering. They provide a wide range of dimension and fact data similar to IQVIA. Some of their key offerings are the Integrated Dataverse, which is a healthcare provider prescribing data, payer data, and also patient journey data. valuecentric.com. It's a specialized data offering. It's focused on pharmaceutical manufacturers' data, and it leverages RX data from IQVIA. IQVIA is its parent company. It's focused mainly on three major manufacturing elements: inventory, customer orders, and distribution. And finally, Wolters Kluwer, WoltersKluwer.com, another one of the large pharmaceutical vendors, specialized data offering, focused on clinical trial data, and some of their key offerings are LexiComp, which is formulary management, and Century 7, which is patient data and outcomes. Thank you. This is the end of Lesson 14.